Dear Leia, the moment the lady who was doing my ultrasound left the room on October 3rd, I knew something was wrong. In fact, the moment we arrived at the hospital, I had a very bad feeling. To be honest, I had a bad feeling all day Saturday. Even on the way to the hospital, I tweeted something about being really nervous for the ultrasound. And I was reading a magazine sitting in the waiting room, made some stupid joke about Jessica Simpson and how she was getting married on the due date 11/11/11. This upset me for some reason. I started talking to a pregnant woman who was sitting beside me, and then all of a sudden they called my name. I went into the room, and the lady said her name. I don't actually remember what it was, but I know it started with an S. I said to her, "Oh, what a beautiful name." She asked me how many children I had, and I said, "Just the one in my tummy." And then she asked me what I was doing there. I told her that I had this ultrasound to see if you had flipped yet, and then I just had a really bad feeling and was super worried. Then she asked me why I didn't come in when I first suspected there was a problem. Those words will always, always haunt me. I told her that Friday I had heard your heartbeat at the doctor's and was told there was no reason for me to worry. This was from the midwife. I did beg the midwife to give me an ultrasound anyways. So she said she would make me an appointment for Monday. Not Friday, not Saturday, not Sunday, Monday. So I did call the midwife on Saturday and told her I was a little worried and upset and I wasn't feeling you move like I normally did. She then asked if I was bleeding. I said no. She told me that I guess I was just worrying for nothing. She did say I had a bladder infection and I would be very tired. She told me just to lay down, try to sleep, take my medicine, and not to worry. And now, fast forward, I had a lady 2 days later asking me why I didn't come in the first place. Well, you know what, lady? I was told this wasn't urgent. And I was also told that if I wasn't bleeding, not to worry. Why didn't I listen to my gut? I knew better. I felt like this was all my fault. I still feel like this is my fault. I know people always tell me it's not, but you know what? I can't help but wonder. I feel horrible. The lady stepped out of the room. I told her not to go because she was scaring me, and that I wanted your daddy, who was also in the waiting room. She then brought a doctor in who asked me a million questions about the last time I felt you move, why I didn't come in sooner, how I could have heard your heart beating on Friday when obviously you didn't have a heartbeat now. I said, "What?" And he said, "I'm sorry, there is no heartbeat. Your dad was sitting in the waiting room. I don't know when he arrived. We were holding hands. I started crying. You were no longer alive. I failed you. I failed your dad." I remember thinking it was some sick joke, and I just started to cry. I told him I had to go to the bathroom, and I just went and vomited. I vomited and vomited and vomited till I couldn't vomit anymore. I curled up in a ball on the floor, and I just cried. Somehow someone came to get me, put me in a wheelchair, and asked if I wanted to go deliver you right now. I said, "What? I'm not due. It's too early." It still wasn't registering to me that you were already gone. Somehow we ended up on the delivery ward. I don't even know how I got there. They didn't talk to me about this in the prenatal class. I never read this in any book. I don't know what was happening. How could I deliver? What would I tell my family and friends? All I could do was cry. When we got there, they asked why I was there and if I was there for a stress test. And I remember screaming, "No, my baby is dead. My baby is dead. Get her out of me." They put me in some room where I was by myself, and they asked if my midwife could come in to be with me. They said they were going to call her, and I said absolutely no. There was no way that I was going to be able to look at this horrible woman, the same woman that told me that if I wasn't bleeding, not to worry. The same woman that said she would not go to the hospital if I went because I was overreacting. I hated this woman. I hated her from the first moment I met her. But that's a whole different story. Ironically, the OB that was on call was the one that we were supposed to see the next week. She was so awesome. She held me when I cried. She told me I could stay. She told me I could go home. Go home? How could I go home? Go home to what? To deliver you? To start the process? I don't understand. Your nursery was finished. We were driving around with a sticker on the car that said Mommy to be. Your car seat was in our car, just installed 2 days before. I decided to stay. And my first thought was about your stroller. The one we had just special ordered 2 days before. The one that cost $800. The one that they had said, hey, guess what? It's ready to be picked up. I don't know why I was obsessed with that, but it just kept going through my head that it was an $800 stroller. And what was I going to do with an $800 stroller? Then I thought about it being Monday and that we would have prenatal class that night. And that on Tuesday I needed to go to my healthy eating class or they would be worried about me. I don't know what was wrong with me. I've been told now that it's because I wasn't in control of my body and I needed to be in control of something. I don't even know what I did or how I did it, but I called my mom. I don't know what I said. I also called my best friend at the time, Rebecca. This is something I regret. She had just had her baby a week before, but it was automatic. We were best friends. I needed to talk to her. We spent the last 8 months together, experienced everything and planning on it. And we were going to be the perfect mommies. And then I think your dad called his mom and the rest of the family. But I don't even know if that happened. Somehow we were making plans for his mom to come down on an airplane and be with us. But we didn't know what was going to happen. All we know was we were putting in a room and that they were going to put something inside of me to start contractions. I was told that you were still breech and that I would have to deliver. And this is when everything hit me. Not only did they tell me my beautiful, precious baby was dead, but now you were sitting feet first and I would have to deliver you. No one even said, hey, you can have a C-section. It was out of the question. But you know what? I didn't care. I didn't care if I lived or died. I didn't care if you ripped me into two. I didn't care. I deserved to die. I felt horrible. I killed you. I don't know how I was going to get through it, but it didn't actually matter. I just wanted everything to be over with, and I wanted to die. Then I asked your dad if he was going to leave me, and he held me and cried. He said, of course he wasn't going to leave me, and that he loved me. Nurses and doctors came in and out. They cried with me. They held me. They were wonderful. They totally understood where I was coming from. They gave me medication to make me sleep and to keep me pain-free. I didn't leave this room for 3 days. Our friends, Maggie and John, came and sat with us. And then I realized that it was Maggie's birthday. I didn't want to ruin her birthday, and I was very upset. I told her that she had to leave because I was just ruining her birthday. I was moved to a different room on day 4. There was a huge bathtub that had a door on it and moved up and down with jets. Of course, it didn't work because I love taking baths, but there was no hot water. It was just a very cruel joke. They told me, hey, go ahead and use it. Try to use it, and it was freezing cold water. I heard other babies being born. I sent your dad home to get me clothes and to make arrangements for our pets. I remember hearing crying of a woman in labor, and she was screaming and saying she couldn't do it. And I kept thinking, oh my God, if she can't do it, how am I going to be able to do it? And do I want to do it? No. I'm not going to lie. The thought of killing myself while your dad was gone was real. But he stayed with me the whole time. He slept in bed with me. We held each other. We cried. The hospital gave us both food, but neither one of us ate. When he was home, he actually picked up my hospital bag. It was packed, and it was packed with my brand new pink fuzzy slippers, my brand new pink robe, and my brand new pink PJs. I don't even know how, but I put it on. I had came to the hospital wearing my brand new pink shirt, and now I can't even look at it. In fact, I'll probably end up throwing it out. But I was on autopilot. It was funny because I was still joking around with our doctors. A doctor came in and told me that the next doctor would look just like him, just a little taller and older. And I laughed. What was wrong with me? I laughed. How could I laugh? I also texted people. I tweeted. I told people what was happening. What? I don't even understand why I did this or how I could do this. I kept checking email. I kept checking Facebook. I kept checking all social media like it was just another day. I wasn't even dilated. It had been 4 days. So they put something else in me and it would check me every 4 hours. That meant I would get no sleep. But you know what? I did not care. Finally, at 7 a.m., my water broke. I remember sitting on this nice leather chair, and all of a sudden it broke. Of course, Daddy freaked out and cleaned it up, worrying that we were going to ruin this chair. Then a nurse came in and said I could have an epidural if I wanted, but I needed to understand that I had to have it right now and not later. So I had an epidural. And then the anesthesiologist told me that I was too fat to have it. I'm sorry, the only place on me that I don't have fat is my back. But we tried it anyways, and of course it didn't work. Another cruel joke. The only thing that was actually frozen was my toes. But I didn't care. I always thought you were born at 2:30 in the afternoon, but you were actually born around 6 o'clock. I think it was the exact time was 5:34 p.m. I wanted to look at you. I really did. We had a plan. I would look at you, your dad would cut the cord, we would hold you, we would spend the rest of our lives with you, we would take you home. But that didn't happen. I pushed for so long, I don't even know how I had the strength to bring you in the world. I was bleeding very, very hard and was told that I was going to have a blood transfusion and that my blood pressure was very, very low and that I needed to remain calm. It was very scary. I was also told that I could meet you, I could hold you, and I said no. I said no. How could I say no? You were my baby. I made you. But I was afraid. I was terrified. I was afraid that I would have a bad memory of you, and I didn't want to think of you. I didn't know what you would look like. They told me to be prepared for the worst. They told me you might not have eyes, you might not have a nose, you might not have a face. But Daddy really wanted to meet you, and he told me that I should too. So of course I changed my mind. They brought you in about an hour after you were born. And as soon as I saw you, I knew you were my angel. You were only 4 feet 11, but had huge feet. No, you weighed 4 pounds, 11 ounces, but you had huge feet. You were so precious. My heart melted. And seeing your dad hold you for the first time made me so proud. I was very proud that you were ours. But I was also so sad that you were never going to grow up to be his Princess Leia. A lady named Nancy came in and took pictures of us. Took pictures of us holding you, took pictures of you, took pictures of Daddy and me and you, but only a couple. You can't see it in my face, but I was proud. I was so proud. You were perfect. There was nothing wrong with you, nothing physically wrong with you. And it didn't actually register to me that you were dead. I could not believe that you were dead. Leia, despite everything, we are very, very lucky to have you in our lives. I'm also very lucky to have your dad in my life, who I could not be going through this without him. I know he's hurting. I know how sad he is. And I know how much it killed him to see me in so much pain. It's a very big testament to how far we've come in our last 14 years. Right now, all I can do is cry. Maybe in a few days, I'll feel like sharing more photos with you. Maybe I'll talk to you more, but I don't know. I know I'll try my hardest not to ever stop writing to you. So much has happened, and I don't know how to deal with it. But for now, I just need to say a silent prayer that you are okay. And I need you to know that I love you now and forever, my sweet girl. Love you, Mommy.